Did you accidentally inject yourself with some kind of psychotropic agent?
Tony Caravan.
You've been subjected to a highly sophisticated form of propaganda.
It's just what you need, and not what you don't.
Did I do the... And away we go. Subtle beginning, subtlety for the day. The name of this show, which I didn't even put up properly, which is weird. So the wrong date is showing. I didn't change this. I wonder if it's too late. How did that work or even works? 16. It's a mystery. It's a mystery to me. Yeah, this is, I got yesterday's picture up. Son of a. So this will only change after the fact. So if you are watching this live, which nobody seems to be doing, but if you got something in the email, you probably think this is yesterday's show. I screwed up. And you're wondering what the hell I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm updating the YouTube thing. It's like there comes a time, and they've been coming more often. Yeah, I screwed up on the title card for the live show. Now I will put that up. It's a mystery to me. The title card should look something like this. Why are they doing this to me? The face. You can see I'm wearing the same clothes. That was just from a couple of moments ago. That's what I look like without the glasses on at 5:16 a.m. Well, I was about 4 something a.m. Takes a while to prepare all this stuff, to get all this stuff together. It's like, it's weird. I don't even know why I do it anymore. I got up around before 4. I was up at midnight for a long time, but eventually I got back to bed.
You're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
My breakfast today was pretty much 100% of my daily fiber needs. Yeah. Last couple days I've developed a pain on the left side of my body, which could be something like diverculitis. I sound like some kind of what do they call them? Hypochondriac. The only problem with me is that every time I've had a problem, I've ended up going into the hospital, and it's been like it's been the real thing, real deal. Bond. We'll talk about that in a little while. We'll try to cycle through some of the stuff that's going on. Here's the latest news. Same as yesterday, and and it's gonna be the same for the rest of till we all fade. How do you do this in reverse? You take a finger, this finger. Oh, see? This is the weird thing. You can't. It doesn't matter what. And why is this like. See, I trim myself. Trying to get rid of the beetle and Mo look a little bit. Yeah. But you're doing everything you do with your hand in this thing is in reverse. So if I put this hand here, I have to go this way if I want to do that. Show some forehead, Get the hair out of my eyes. But that's the news. There's some guy on trial, some stupid thing about guns. Like, who really cares? Right? I mean, the fact of the matter is there's more guns than people in the United States. The only places where you're not allowed to like carry a gun and where they have the strictest gun laws are the highest crime districts. You know, that's like the news. And that's kind of what that trial is partially, dealing with. But, it's like the subtext of it. Otherwise, they passed. I don't need to have that up to tell you this. We'll just go through the basic over news. I don't need to look at something. I don't watch TV, but I know what's going on. They passed some kind of the infrastructure bill or something, I think was signed into law. And they also sent out the checks yesterday or the day before, like the last of the year of this. It's this guaranteed income that something like 60 million Americans got. And they call it the Child Something Act. Now, remember, I had to jump on this like last summer. I showed you the email I got from a senator, right? And I explained it and went into it. I'm not going to go through it, but if you're up to a certain age, I don't know if it's 5 or 6, you get $300 per child. And if they're over whatever that age is, whether it's 5 or 6, 5 to 17, okay, this is like a person in high school. You get $250 for that kid. Now, the families that have like 3 or 4 kids, they're getting $1,000. They're getting $1,000. Now, you may not understand that. Like, think, $1,000, man. Me and my wife, we're making $80,000, $120,000 a year, Now, you don't understand what $1,000 is for people at the, that means you don't have to get a job. And you could buy booze and cigarettes and stuff because you still qualify for child care, EBT, which is food stamps for those of you who don't understand how that world works. It's free food, basically. Free health care, 100%, no deductibles. So forget about whatever lies people talk about health care. And you qualify for all kinds of other services, which the more aggressive you are in figuring out what you qualify for, you could go get them. I'll give you an example, actually. Tear it up. I get these things. I threw it away, probably. Unless it happens to coincidentally be on the back of this thing. Nah, it's not. But see, do you need help with your phone bill? You got a phone bill. Free phone. So now they talk about hyperinflation, how inflation's gonna hurt the poor. This is how things are just so out of whack. I just want to get into this first, okay? This is just a little bit of,
You're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
And we'll get into everything else. All right? This may be the part of the show. I just want to explain how reality is, for people who just don't understand reality. They're going to encourage people. There's going to be a rise in the birth rate this year. In the mind of the person that wants that money, wants that $300, they're doing some serious fornication right now. Because, hey, it only takes 9 months to pop one of those things out. We could get an extra $300 next year, by next Christmas. You see? Merry Christmas. Yeah. Yeah. See, in some ways, one of the reasons they've allowed this mass migration into the U.S. is like the U.S. population is actually, it hasn't been growing. Yeah. You got a lot of old people who are still there in various nursing homes, but they're just sucking all their money out. And then once they can't afford to stay in those places or whatever, it's just elderly abuse is what it is. But people aren't going to last forever. We don't live forever. We'll talk about life extension and that stuff too. The billionaires got that all figured out now. They don't even talk about, the putting themselves in machines anymore. They wised up to that. They must have listened to me. And, they're all into this, NMN and, things like that. They've studied like the telomeres on the size of the telomeres. They've got a test now. You could swab yourself and learn your biological age. Guys have been testing and doing this stuff, doctors and people at like Harvard and all these other places. And they've reverse age by as much as 10 years. There's one group. There's a lot of Silicon Valley.coms into this. Startups, like billions of dollars, and all the billionaires are invested. Bezos is invested in one of the companies. And they have it down where these guys are going to just keep taking their biological age back like 10 years indefinitely. And they're talking about living to be 300 years old and stuff like that. Like biblical ages. Yeah. So it makes sense when you talk about, if you watched my show about, where I taught the Serapeum and previous cultures use different technologies or whatever, they may have focused more on biology than technology. And like here, as we're approaching the end of our civilization right now, it seems these guys caught on to it a little bit too late. Because, in other words, there's nothing you can do about the power of the sun. So if the sun expels its outer shell and causes a problem, you're screwed. So you're not going to live to be 300. Most people, will all be lucky. Any of us, if we can make it. Make it another 20 some years. No matter how much money you have, what you do, whatever, So you really ought to get your life together. This hair. I know it's kind of comical. Some people. I cut it. Maybe it's better like that. The Beatles. Or you're some idiot. Some people think it's a wig. It's not a wig. It's my real hair. It grew back. I took resveratrol. and vinegar, apple cider vinegar with the mother in it. You know about that? I found out that the problems I was having with this gallbladder stuff was probably due. This doesn't do it. This is just a thing I found that I thought I'd share with you. Who knows who's watching these things? Certainly, that's not popular, so it's not going to be the youngest of the young. So, myself in a better position. What foods are good to eat when gallbladder is acting up? And then they have to repeat it. What are the best foods to eat when your gallbladder is acting up? Low-fat foods. I do that. Minimally processed foods. I don't eat any. What do they call processed foods? I mean, the closest thing to being a processed food that I would eat would probably be like Raisin Bran cereal. Because it's, it's fortified. They put all these vitamins in it, but, they don't think that works. So, I don't know. When this Raisin Bran box is gone, I'm going to get rid of it. Plant-based proteins, beans, lentils, chickpeas, quinoa. I have no idea what quinoa is. I've never even seen it in the stores, but I have chickpeas and beans. Vegetables and fruits, I grow them, eat a lot of them. Sprouted nuts and seeds, yeah, I'm there. whole grains. Well, that's what I kind of thought Raisin Bran was, and oatmeal and stuff, which I eat. Legumes, I thought were things like nuts and beans. You see? Lean meats and fish. Yeah, if I ever do eat, I rarely eat. I'm not a vegetarian, but I can relate to vegetarianism, not veganism. That's like a religion. But I mean, the idea is I like animals, so it's like, But I mean, I have sardines or salmon, or sometimes I'll break down and have some chicken. The weirdest thing about it is this. Now, this is sick, and nobody's watching right now, so it doesn't really matter. But if you eat like Kentucky Fried Chicken, which I don't, I haven't had Kentucky Fried Chicken. I can't even tell you when. But I mean, if you buy like store bought like a fried chicken, or if you eat even stuff like ring bologna, almost kielbasa, say, even some kind of pork product or something, sausage, and this might sound sick. And the show's not going to be about this. We're just going to move into all kinds of things. And you have a bowel movement, you probably don't even need toilet paper, if you know what I'm talking about. So how could those foods be bad for you? I swear, eating a healthy diet, when I switched to eating a healthy diet, living a healthier lifestyle, I started to have all kinds of health problems. I don't get it. Anyway, let's go through some other facts. No, I want to let me explain this before we get into it. We'll talk about, some of the weather and the news and Bitcoin and all that other, we'll go through all the thing, the music feature, everything's going to be here. But I wanted to talk about this, another one of these deceptions and lies that the medias and the politicians are playing on you. All right? And why anyone who thinks that they're going to have a chance to like change. There's all these people that think they got little victories and like they're going to be like, we're going to win in 2022, 24. We're going to save America. I'm tired of getting the fucking emails, man. They just gave 60 million people, families. And I watched a clip from CBSN on YouTube. Like I said, I don't watch TV, and I don't even ever click on anything that has to do with network news on YouTube. Don't even want to click on it. That's how much I have avoidance. Like I say, to me, this is the frickin' news. But I clicked on it because it was like, this payment thing, and I had talked about that, and I wanted to see follow up, because it's a matter of, if I talk about something on this show, and if I need to correct something, if I've misspoken or got something wrong, I would clarify it. And so I watched that more for the idea to make sure that I got it right last year when I brought this up, or early last summer, spring or whatever. And no, I was correct if you would have watched that show at the time. And it's exactly what I said it is. But these CBS reporters were saying it's like an experiment in real time. We're watching families spend this money on children's clothing and getting, and daycare and, and things for the child and stuff like that. Like these people that just don't understand how the world works. They have no idea what it's like, what it's like living out in the real world. I'm sure there's some people, it's like me, I live on $1,000 a month, okay? And I'm not wasting it on drugs and, even booze. And stuff. But I'm struggling. I'm buying things like silicone caulk to stop my roof from leaking. I don't have any kids or anything like that. But what they don't understand is 60 million families, all right, with kids. Now, these are families that are guaranteed to have kids. Now, they could be single moms, which probably half of them are. So they won't mention that. But, I mean, half of them are. Or more, probably. Whoever has custody of the child is the one getting the check. Right? So let's look at this thing. So imagine, you're talking about these people at least have 2 kids. And when I say these people, I'm not talking like this is some derogatory term. I mean everybody. I don't care. It's not a color thing, religion thing. I'm talking about we're getting into this idea of the 60 million. It's not 60 million. All right. If they have 1 child, it's 120 million. You look at the population of the United States. All right. If they have 2 children, it's 180 million people. Technically, they're kids. Up to the age of 17, man. 17, 16, 17, 15, 16, 17. In today's society, those kids are out there. Right? They're out. All right? They're doing the Humpty dance and stuff. They're getting, driving and things. And some of these people have four kids. And I'm telling you, a lot of them are going to be like humping like crazy right now, from now through Christmas, because they want to get that extra $300 next year on top of whatever they're getting now. Yeah, I could pop one of those things out and get $300 extra a month. See, they already get food and childcare. That's where the CBS, they were both white women, okay? This is the funny thing about this. 2 white, idealistic, mistaken people, like these people who go, we're going to go to Morocco to show, and then they end up getting raped and killed, right? Let's go to the Middle East to show how peace and love is, and they end up getting raped and killed. Watch Paul Joseph Watson's video on that thing, all those people. That's happened too. So there were 2 of those type of idealistic, white CBS reporters. The anchor woman, and then somebody who's their specialist in whatever this kind of thing is, right? Hired because of the job for this. And they're like, they don't understand. No. They're not going to work. Okay. So you could forget about, like, when I was 16, me and 2 of my buddies went down to the Social Security office, got our Social Security cards, and we got jobs. And I was like stocking shelves at Rite Aid when I was 16. Well, that kid's, they're not doing that now. All right. 17, I was busting tables, right, at some freaking restaurant. Make a couple extra bucks. So I had some spending money. They're not doing that at 16 and 17 today. And before that, I was working for my father in his print shop. But, of course, I wasn't getting paid for that. But, they put a roof over my head and fed me. So I guess that was what that was for. And I have no complaints there. I liked that place when I was a kid. So 120, 180 million people. It's because kids are people too. There's 320 million people in the United States. Right? 180 plus 180 is 360. Well, that's even more. So that means that I would guesstimate the stupid terminology people have, like an educated guess, right? That over half of the people, that includes children, but now children have an income. Okay? Free income. That over half the people in the United States are getting free money. I mean, that's not even a stretch. That's the fact. And if, say, 30 million of those individuals were at the poverty level, and they, because the poverty level is like, I don't know, it's around $12,000. But there are certain other benefits that you qualify for if you make under like 19,000, I think, 19,200. I don't know what it is. Don't quote me on those exact numbers. But the poverty level somewhere in the 12,000 range. And and I'm sure this money doesn't count as income. This is like, because this goes to the child. You see, this is like, they're really shrewd what they're doing here. And so, like, yeah, you get full benefits if you're at the $1,000 a month level, and then you get partial benefits and like some other things as long as you're under 19,000 or something like that. So more than half the country, but let's say like 30 million of these single moms or parents are at the poverty level, which they surely are. Then remember, we got to treble that amount. So it's 100 million there. That's at least a third of the population. There's no incentive for them to go to work. You got free food, free housing, free cell phone, free health care, and $1,000 cash a month. They say the money's going to be used for daycare. There's no need for daycare. The kids are at home, man. Mom's not going to work. Why? If I had 2 kids here and I were in that, category, well, I'm here every day. I don't go anywhere. So I wouldn't be spending on daycare. I wouldn't be spending on food. I'd get EBT. I wouldn't be spending on health care. I'd get free health care from, So, and there's all these other benefits they give you. You get a free cell phone. Right. And like I say, they've got all kinds of other things they offer. There's a whole laundry list of them. It's ridiculous. I mean, I wish I wouldn't have torn it up. I just tore it up this morning. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find at least half of it just to read it off, the laundry list, just to show you how crazy it is. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is so bizarre to me that I get these things and yeah, okay, here we go. Welcome to medical assistance. Okay. Certified registered nurse, practitioner services, chiropractic services, clinic services, crisis services, contact lenses, dental services, durable medical equipment, emergency room ambulance service, nutritional supplements, optometrist services, outpatient drug and alcohol services, outpatient hospital services, partial psychiatric services, peer support services. This is only one sheet. I tore it in half. Where's the other half? Okay, here we go. Eyeglasses, frames, eyeglasses, lenses, family planning service, federal qualified services, home health service, hospice services, inpatient drug and alcohol service, inpatient hospital service, laboratory services, maternity, medical supplies, methadone maintenance. Methadone maintenance. Basically, you could stay high. Mobile mental health, non-emergency transportation, nursing facility services, physician services. You don't pay your doctor. No copay. podiatrists, prescription drugs, no copay when you get any of your prescription drugs. Primary care provider services, prosthetics, psychiatric services, radiology, x-rays, MRIs, CTs, renal dialysis, targeted case management services, behavioral health, therapy, physical, occupational speech, tobacco cessation. I give you a free fucking tobacco patch, I guess. All right. Now, about 30 million of them already get that. Right. This pain in the side of my frickin'. If it's not one thing, it's 17 others with me. So what I'm trying to say is you have to understand that people, you're not going to change the country because these people, more than half the people don't even give a shit. And the other half have these like are bureaucrats making six figures or more. And then you've got the billionaire and millionaire classes. And they're all preoccupied with, life extension, living to be 300,000 or 300 years. Or have immortality. There's one study I was watching where they could, like, every time you get this treatment, it takes 2 years off your life. So, like, if you did it every year, you would just start going back and back, or if you just did it every 2 years, you would just stay the same age. Another one takes like it's a regimen or something, but it's just popping these pills and stuff, or these like powders or eyedroppers and stuff in your yogurt. Like this one doctor. I mean, this guy's been like, award. He's got tenure at, major universities. He's been written up in like Nature magazine. That's like the prestigious peer-reviewed, journal. And he's doing it. He's putting it in his yogurt every morning. I mean, this stuff is happening. So you got that breakaway civilization that I've talked about that are living up in immortality land and, flying rockets and doing all that kind of, just like the world's their playground. Expending all the carbon, the fossil fuels, they're the one using them all up. That's a funny thing. Like, people don't even understand. And these people sitting at home collecting these, this money, $1,000, $1,200 a month or whatever from the government for free, plus all these free services. Well, the only carbon-based fuels they really are using or any CO2 contribution to the atmosphere is their heating fuel if they live in like the north or something and it's cold, or if it's in the south and it's like stinking hot. They have the AC on. Right? So the whole thing is absurd, and when you see the news, this is what it is. It's just nonsense. There's nothing in those speech balloons. And these two women that from the CBS News report were totally out of touch with that, like, reality. See, I live among people. Okay? I know, right, what they do. I hear them talk. I used to talk to some people, but now I got sick of talking to them because they're really weird. Like I said, I had a neighbor and she just, they're after a while, their true colors come out. You realize, man, they're crazy. There's more bigotry among the people that they're giving these free services to, all right, than the people who they think are the so-called white suburbanites and stuff. You should see what the poor, just look at the rioters on the streets and stuff. It's not, yeah, everything is upside down and backwards. And people just don't realize that. So yeah, they just they just snuck this by, and it was probably a minor story on the end of the nightly news yesterday that the last checks went out, I guess, for the end of the year. So the total of this year was like 60 million people got that money. 60 million families, not people. Like I say, it's probably 180 million people, or more, or at least more than half the population of the United States. Think about that. And so what are you saving? It's like these people with like gun carry laws and gun laws and all caught up in all this stuff. Places, the highest crime, the places where there are the highest rates of crime, gun crimes, have like, supposedly like zero tolerance laws. You can't carry a gun, it's hard to get a gun. It's almost impossible. But that's where all the gangs are, and they all got all the guns. And the murder rates, homicide rates, and gun violent rates in those areas like Chicago, New York, New Jersey, certain parts of South Central LA, places like that. Though those places, where getting a gun is virtually impossible, but you could just buy a gun on the street, right? In an alley, just like in the movies. Like I say, most of those movies aren't exaggerations. Most of those movies are basically a watered down reality. The crime movies and the political thriller movies, they're like watered down. Right? They're not. That's not fantasy. It's like it's worse than what you see in the movies. So just think about that. And you're thinking, oh, it's going to change, and you're going to like use your credit card to donate money to Save America or something. Or vote for some candidate. I'm getting all these emails from people, man. It's getting more and more every day. Pain in the arm, that's a heart attack sign. Pain in the left, that's some kind of colon thing. Pain in the right, that's like a gallbladder. Pain in the mouth, that means that antibiotics wore off. I'm eating a high fiber diet. Supposedly coffee's good for the old gallbladder. I follow all the fucking rules. Right. But why are they doing this to me? They're not. It's just the luck of the fucking draw, man. Luck of the fucking draw. All right, let's move on. So, I guess, are you interested in
the Weather Watch forecast?
Wow, look what I did. I upgraded. Now we got the animation. Okay. This is this morning. This morning, folks. Yep. I got the animation. This is better than you see on TV, isn't it? You can see what's going on there. Like I said, in my neck of the woods, the mid-Atlantic states, man, it's fucking cold. It's 34 degrees outside my window. It's going to get a high of like 43 today, a low of 34 again. It was cold last night, even with the heat on. Now, tomorrow it's supposed to, Wednesday and Thursday, tomorrow's going to go to 60. And Wednesday night's going to be mild. And then Thursday it's going to rain, which is great. Just my luck. But then it's going to go down to 28 at night. So all that rain's going to freeze and turn into ice. And the next day it's going to be 39, 27, So, there's a little bit of a break this week. Like I say, if I have the intestinal fortitude, I'll go out back and maybe do some yard work. But maybe I won't. I don't know. Maybe I'll go for a walk today. It doesn't look like it's going to rain, just to like shake things up in the abdomen. But as you can see, the clouds, it's like the jet stream pretty much going across. This is the way things are. They usually go from west to east. And, so eventually those heavier clouds are going to head towards the northeast, mid-Atlantic, and that'll bring the rain, like I said, by towards the end of the week, by Thursday or so. But it's mostly, the better part of the U.S. isn't looking all that bad, I mean, obviously some of the high elevation areas, you can see the thicker clouds west and in towards, as it heads up towards the plains. And then it's looks like it's moving into the Great Lake area. So you might see some lake effect snow. But I'm not up in those parts, so I couldn't tell you that for sure. It'd take me all day to give you the entire weather thing. But isn't that special? I just added that today and I got it to work. It takes time to do all this stuff. Anyway, that's the weather.
The Weather Watch forecast.
So, plant-based proteins, beans, lentils, legumes. The same fucking thing. Why are they doing this to me? I don't know. Bitcoin, man, you poor bastards. Market summary, Bitcoin. All right. That stuff in the bottom doesn't really matter. It's just repeats what's up top. So this is taken in incrementally, all right, from like midnight to, 7:15. Remember, this is UTC time. Okay, so this is over, like the international dateline type of stuff, weird shit. Someplace over in UK, they actually have a marker on the ground. Someplace over there. But, from like midnight last night UTC to this morning UTC, now it's hours later. But I mean, it's, when I snap this, November 16, 9:54 a.m. UTC. So that was like within like an hour ago. So that's how accurate this is. So it was down 5.73% today. People lost $3,600. Right? You'd have been better off to donate me the $3,600 and just have it disappear into thin air, you say? Because you'd still have had the 60. Anyway. So, yeah, Bitcoin, I thought it might have popped up to 70, but instead it dropped. That's a fairly substantial drop. So, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Now, this is the holiday season. The holiday season. And whoop-dee-doo. Anyway, these people that get angry at people who put up their Christmas lights and decorations early. And one guy explained it the best. I was on some YouTube channel or somewhere I was watching. And he goes, I put my Christmas lights up this weekend because the temperature was like 50, 60 degrees. And the heck if I'm going to try to do it when there's ice on my house and it's, below freezing, right? And I think a lot of people don't understand that. And traditionally, usually, getting your Christmas tree out, instead of it being Black Friday, usually the Friday after Thanksgiving, that was like the family was around, and that's when you kind of got the Christmas stuff out. And so the holiday season, oh la-dee-da, la-ti-ti-ta, and all that stuff. The garbage man's outside. I don't think you can hear him. But, Hanukkah is the 29th of November this year. So, it's the holiday season. You got Thanksgiving, right? Is Thursday, the 25th. And 24th. Is it 24th, right? Yeah. No, 25th. That's right. And Christmas is the 25th. And Hanukkah is the 29th of November and runs into. So, I mean, it's the holiday frickin' season. You got Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa if you're so inclined, Boxing Day if that's your thing, and then New Year's Eve. So it's holiday season and happy holidays. I keep trying to say this to people, like who are these negative people. Because really what they are is they're bigots. Actually, I think they're anti-Semitic, when they say that. Like they're anti-happy holidays. It's like holidays, Hanukkah's this season too. And Hanukkah's not a one-day affair, and Jews have Thanksgiving. I mean, come on. It's holiday season. Happy holidays. You don't have to say, it's not Merry Christmas, right? It's Merry Christmas on Christmas. And Christmas is coming. So that's my featured artist today is the Payolas. Now, this goes back to 1983, like punk rock, But this is the best Christmas song ever made. That's a bold statement. I mean, in pop, what I would say, it's hard to say pop, but rockin', not even rock, because it's not rock. It is rock. It's rockin'. All right? This is the best rockin' Christmas song ever made, hands down. And you probably don't even know it. Most people don't even know this song. And this song would be a song that could be played on the radio Friday after Thanksgiving. Right? Christmas is coming. Yeah. And man, this is good. It's a rockin', feel good, upbeat, like get you in a party mode, tune. The Payolas, Christmas is coming. I was going to feature a different album today, and then I realized, no, I'm going to do this because it's like, because it's the holiday season. Anyway. But yeah, Christmas is coming, man. It's a classic. And I highly recommend you procure yourself a copy. It's well worth the 99 cents or $1.29, whatever they're charging on music services, unless you have a music service. But to add it to your collection, so you got it in your playlist on your whatever thing, or you could get your little, Echo Dot or whatever to play it for you, right? And speaking of, before I get into that, so Christmas is coming. Payolas, song of the day, artist of the day. Check it out. You got to get it. I mean, the next one would be the Pogues with Kirsty MacColl, Christmas in the Drunk Tank, whatever that song is. That's a classic too. But that's like, this is a party tune. Christmas is coming, the Payolas. Check it out. And of course, Christmas isn't Christmas without the Christmas movie season. And so, you got the Bond film. But, it really pissed me off. I made my mind up. I was going to watch a movie yesterday afternoon. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll rent the Bond movie. And it was $19.99 to rent the sucker. $19.99. So I didn't rent it. But, I'm hoping, well, I guess it might not come down, or start appear on the services or come down to a normal rental rate until after Christmas. Because it's, this will be like one of the Christmas flicks. But what I did watch was the Black Widow Avenger, with movie with that, what's her name? I'll check it. Why stumble? I had a CT scan. I have no signs of dementia, so this is just more. This is called getting up too early in the morning and your brain's not fully functioning yet. Black Widow film. Scarlett Johansson. And she played next to this girl, Florence Pugh. And Rachel Weisz was in that. Who's still looking pretty good. You know, Rachel Weisz is getting up there in age. You know, surprise. But yeah, Scarlett Johansson, she was in that. And that was only $5.99. I mean, though, that's a lot too. You know, I think $2.99 is like, you know, to me, that's more reasonable. But I was determined to watch a movie because there wasn't anything else to watch. And I wanted something. It was overly action. But what pissed me off is, you know, you pay for internet service. And like 3 or 4 times it froze up on me. And, you know, I don't know if that was from Apple's server. You know, I mean, all these people staying at home getting their getting this, like, you know, excuse me, all this free money sent in their bank accounts. And so they're just sitting at home watching movies. And they're choking the bandwidth of these servers. They say there's still 11 million job openings, but that doesn't include the restaurants and stuff like that. Like I say, on this street alone, there's probably a dozen job openings at convenience stores, restaurants, pizza shops, and places like that. That's one street. Now, times how many streets are there in America, right? 100,000, you know, or something. I mean, or tens of thousands. So, you know, just add that up, 10 times 10,000, right? And, you know, and that's, you know, and this is a small street. Forget about, like, you know, boulevards and stuff like that. So it's, you know, it's another million jobs probably. Or more, you know. But yeah, half those people are not going to ever work. In other words, they recreated the welfare state. You know, and oddly enough, it was Bill Clinton, a Democrat, who basically like made the changes to like prevent that situation from happening. Because from Johnson's Great Society to Clinton administration, there was no motivation to get out of welfare. And that's why you had that, you know, that was that whole thing. And that created the inner cities and, you know, and all the problems we had in this country. And this thing just basically brought it back. And they want people to be under their thumb and reliant on them. And the people aren't really victims of this because in their mind, see, this is the thing you have to understand. And a lot of people who are like progressives, libertarians, you know, or Republicans, or even, you know, classical liberals type of people, what they don't understand about the poor, you know, that the class of poor that they've created and that now that they've just put back into, you know, basically gave them, you know, this thing forever. Headphones are falling off. That they don't care. They can get by on that. Right? I mean, it's free food, free prescriptions. If you have a medical problem, you get free health care. You got a free cell phone. You got a place to live for free. And you got cash coming in to spend to buy stuff. So it's going to be a big holiday season for, you know, for half the American people. And then another 100 million people who are working, right? How many people have jobs? You know, what is employment in the U.S.? Let's double check that number. New window. How many people are working in the U.S.? 157 million people, allegedly. In 2019, that is. Jeez. United States employment 2022. You see, Google has become totally useless. United States employed persons 2021 data. Let's see here. The number of employed persons in the United States increased to 154,000 in October of 2021. Okay. So it's somewhere around 153, 154. Because in September it was like 153 something. Okay, so like I was saying, it follows exactly through with what I'm getting at. So you got approximately 330 million people in the country. So you got 150 million roughly working, right? Because who knows how they calculate these numbers. Sometimes these things, they're guesstimates, like I said. They're best guesses, estimates. Educated guesses by statisticians, bureaucrats. But, that's a fair number, 150 plus working. And so that means out of 320 million, or 30 million, that leaves 180 million not working. And that includes people of all ages, includes kids and elderly, the people who can't work. And that's it. So less than half the country's working. And there's 11 million jobs that no one wants to take, and they're high-end jobs. And then there's all these lower-end jobs that no one wants to take and will never take. So those businesses will just go out of business. See, if you can't get an employee at your restaurant or your bodega, whatever they call them, like these weird names they have. It's a convenience store. It's not a bodega, right? It's like when you go and they call these people baristas, right? It's a coffee shop, right? It's like a person who has a job working at the counter, right? It's a clerk, right? Barista. It's a clerk, all right? It's not a bodega. It's a convenience store. The stupid shit they come up with, man. Heart attack. So anyway, it's just an interesting things that you're not going to hear, spaked on the news. Because you're just going to hear a bunch of gobbledygook. Cartoon characters, saying nothing in speech balloons. It's ridiculous. Beans, lentils, legumes. The same fucking thing, man. So, La Palma. I got this picture from the Spaniards. That thing ain't quitting. That ain't quitting. There's your climate crisis. That's not caused by CO2. That's caused by, you know what. The sun heating up the magma, weakened magnetic field. This is the future. Yeah, that's La Palma. They're not talking about that too much, are they? Yeah, that's pretty scary. And all that ash, going up into the atmosphere from, remember we looked how many volcanoes, all these countless volcanoes were going off right now, is just going to cool the planet even more than it already is. And believe me, we are cooling. And they want to take away the heat source, the fossil fuels, as they call them, from the planet. Well, this is another hypocritical thing. So in other words, why are they doing this to me? So just like you can't build back better infrastructure bill without fossil fuels, because if you can't make the steel girders, which require fossil fuels, or you can't run, put fuel in the crane to raise, the girders and to fix the highways and run the heavy equipment to fix the roads, bridges, railways, and all that shit. So that's all a lie. That's just some kind of money grab to their friends. They're going to give this money to these big contracting firms who are just going to keep it. It's like the ones that are out here, and they're playing games. See, I'm convinced it's cost me a fortune, in my poor way. Like I told you, my house shakes, like an earthquake. And I lived in California, so I know what earthquakes are. All right? I mean, what they feel like. And so they dug the same hole up 3 times. And I've been on here, and those who watch the show, and I've been like, these people are idiots. It's a professional contracting firm. They got all the right equipment, tons of employees, the logo, right? The whole like staging area. I mean, everything. This is no like, joke operation. Some guys the old city crews trying to fix a street or something. No, this is like, you should see the stuff they have, right? I mean, it's crazy. They got everything you could imagine. All the material, all the heavy equipment, piles of gravel, all the stuff. I mean, it's just like, yeah, we're talking, first class, high-end operation. And there's like, they digging up the same hole like 3 or 4 times along this stretch. And I was attributing it to idiocy. Saying, these people don't know what the hell they're doing, man. And then the house is shaking because they haven't filled it right. So that when these big coal trucks and other trucks come barrel-assing down the street, my house shakes like it's an earthquake. And I already had to pay a plumber to fix a pipe. I had my chimney. I had the... I had to like mortar in between the bricks on parts of my chimney because it was like shaking out, all of the mortar. My stairs, which are concrete stairs, cracked from the vibrations, and I had to do a shitty job there because I didn't have the time. And I wasn't as healthy this summer to like really do a good concreting job, but just to get me through, I know it's going to be a rough winter. So I just patched, mortared, and cemented the areas where my steps actually cracked. Among other things. And I think a lot of my roofing leaking problems are from all that crazy shaking, is like loosening these nails and boards. It's a 100-year-old house. But now I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, no, it's not stupidity by this big contracting firm. This is just like these military contractors. All right. Like the reason they left all that stuff over in Afghanistan. Because they wanted to get paid to replenish it. Right? I mean, the state of the art of our military, people just don't get it. They could have easily. The Taliban is not high tech, right? We could have gone in there, an op, and just like, right? Get some. Where is that? Right. Yeah. Get some. Get some. Get some. Get some. Get some. even got our stuff out of there. People don't like that. But we didn't. And the reason we didn't is because the military contractors wanted to replenish, have those billions of dollars worth of materiel lost for two reasons. One, they wanted to be able to replenish it to make enough billions of dollars from the government teat. And they were hoping that some of that stuff might be utilized by those Taliban and potential terrorist groups so that then they could go, be brought back in and even sell more materiel, and get that thing started up again. People don't realize that shit. That's what I'm saying. Everything you know is wrong, and you don't know what you don't know. And nobody's watching this show. Why is that? Because it's blocked. Right? Because they don't want the truth out there. But I'm not violating any terms of service. So, so all they can do is use their algorithms to like play games with me. Post-dated or pre-dated. They do all kinds of weird stuff. So it doesn't show up right. They call throttle, In other words, the URL exists. I can give you the URL and you could come and watch it, and people do that. But even when some people did sign up and subscribed, they were telling me, hey, I didn't get an email that your show was on. I didn't even know you were on. So they do that stuff too. So even if somebody subscribed, they hide it. They don't want the truth and people don't want to care about the truth. That's the whole thing. All right. The billionaires and millionaires don't care about the truth, right? They're not watching the news. They don't really care. And now you got half the country. Remember, I'm saying, you take 30 million or 60 million families, those children count. And some of these children are in their teens, they're high school age. And they get $250 for each of those. All right? They're not getting in the workforce. The gangs start recruiting people at like age 15 and stuff like that. Even younger in some cities. But people have no idea what the real world has turned into and how it is. Like I say, we're already living in dystopia. And these ideologues are like, they're the ones that are idiots. I mean, on both sides, because they have no clue. But the people in charge of this country, it's not like the Democrats and the Republicans don't stand a chance either. No, it's Brussels. It's a Davos set. They just want this to be their little playground, their Disney World, their little money place where they can like fart around and keep their billions and stuff. It's all a big game of like bankers and military contractors and tech companies who are really just trying to like, they use people as things. It's like I always, like I said, I probably should have the old things on. You're just cattle to them, and so they're just, and they're just trying to find, eternal youth. And that's the game. The billionaires want to live to be 300 plus or live forever. Right? The bankers and the military contractors, they just want to just get, richer and richer and richer. They don't care. People, soldiers, you're cattle and pawns to them. They don't care. You're cannon fodder. Right? What's a hero to a person, a brother in arms, right? To the people who are sending them in harm's way, is just cannon fodder. They don't care. Is a means, is a you know, a stroke on a ledger. You know? And then these retail companies, they, you know, they'll do fine giving all this free money out to 180 million people or 160 million people. And then the other people are just watching TV like crazy and watching CBS, and they don't understand how the other half lives, which is an old expression, but it's true. They don't know how the other half lives. But both of them are buying the same fucking things. They're both buying iPhones. They're both buying, you know, Nike. They're both buying whatever, you know, whatever the thing is, you know, the thing of the time, you know. So whatever's advertised on TV. The big holiday, the gift that everybody buys for the holidays or Christmas. Right? And so that's the thing. That's their system, and that's how it works. And everything's working just right. So the reset's over. This is the thing people don't understand. There is no build back better. That's the illusion that you've been under, right? When they tell you build back better, you know, and I'm going, it's a mystery to me or something like that. It's not really a mystery to me. You know, they've already, you know, the great reset's already happened. That's why I'm telling you, if you donate money to these campaigns and stuff, you're a fool. Politics is bullshit. This is a corporatocracy. It's like a whole different world than you can imagine. And they've already put enough stuff into motion that the system, the wheels are turning. It's a machine. You can't stop the machine. It's the way things are. And the only thing that's going to change it is, you know, in the next 2 decades, the sun will probably just take out the whole thing. And that'll be like, and there'll be this like, Jeff Bezos would be like, what happened? Or what's happening? And they look up in the sky when they see this, you know, there'll be some forewarnings, but I mean, they're too late to respond to, because everyone basically say whoever survives is just lucky. And you're not going to survive on the moon or the Mars any better than you're going to survive here. And it's going to be like, I thought I was going to live forever or until 300 years. You know, you wasted your money and time on that. What you should have been doing is, you know, is helping your fellow man out. You know, the spirit of the holidays. Yeah, it's pretty laughable when you think about it. And that's why I tell you, you know, that freedom is fun in the sense of, and, you know, game over and all these things. And they seem like contradictions. You know, me saying game over, everything you know is wrong, you don't know what you don't know, then what, and all that stuff. And then freedom is fun. It's not like, none of these things are contradictory. They're all reality simultaneously. And the point is, you have to just remove yourself. See, game over, and then the answer is then what? And then the answer to that is freedom is fun. You know, just break away from this mind control. You know, this mind in a blender bullshit. And then you'll realize that, you know, just live and be happy. Find happiness. Happiness isn't, look, the days of, you know, the American dream is over. I mean, there's still some weird shit that happens and some people are lucky. I'm sure there's some random bastards winning lottery tickets and stuff like that. I mean, I don't watch TV anymore, but I'm sure there's people winning the lottery. I'm sure there's some weird person that for some reason their credit score goes up and they're able to get a loan and open a bodega. And like for them, that's the American dream, right? Yeah, stuff like that's happening. But I'm generalizing. I'm saying in general, it's frickin' dystopia out there. And if you want to try and be obsessed with trying to, follow this American dream, how long is it going to last? Right? Before somebody comes in and shoots you, behind the counter of your bodega. Which happens all the time. Or like out in the West Coast where they have those like $900 they don't process, so people just go into stores on a bicycle with a backpack and just ride a bike down the shelves and fill it with all kinds of goods and ride their bike right out, and the security cop just like looks at them. And they call 911 and the cops just take the thing down, and they don't go and pursue it because it's considered a misdemeanor, or it's not even a misdemeanor. Whatever the fuck it is, they don't care. So in other words, Walgreens closes all these stores, and the people who live in those neighborhoods now, if there are people like me, if you don't drive anymore, you don't do this, and you need toilet paper, you can't get it. Right? Or if your pharmacy was there, you can't, And so then you got to go to one of these online places. Did you ever try buying? You could buy toilet paper online, but they want you to buy the 24 rolls equals 248, right? $44.95. It's like, I can't spend $44.95 to buy this big fucking monstrous thing of toilet paper. I got bills to fucking pay. I want to go to the store and pay $6.99 maybe and get, which is still too much. And that's what they've done to those people in those neighborhoods, because the stores go, we can't stay here. If people are going to come in and just take everything for free, and the cops aren't going to arrest these people, and there's no, incentive for them to not do this, we're closing down the store. And so all the people in that neighborhood area, within so many blocks, within like a mile or so, who would have walked to that place to get their things, health supplies, prescriptions, personal supplies, women getting, things for their periods, stuff like that. They no longer, so now what? They got to order everything online and pay more shipping fees, or have to get their Amazon Prime things to get free shipping. But the problem with that is sometimes the stuff gets lost. What happens if it doesn't come in time for your period? What happens if you have to go to the bathroom and you're out of toilet paper? And it says your your item was supposed to be delivered, but it didn't come. That happens to me all the time, delivery stuff. See, fortunately, I still at least have a grocery store down the street and a convenience store up the street in this neighborhood, because we don't have that law here. But if they ever put that thing in effect, I'm telling you, these people in this neighborhood would do it. They'd be just going in there grabbing it. And those stores would close down like that. Because it bothers me that they don't have an automated checkout aisle at the grocery store down the street, even though they never use all the lanes. And the reason they don't is because they know that people would game the system in the mornings or at certain times. And they only, like in the morning, they have a skeleton crew there. It's like a manager in the office and somebody in the one checkout aisles open up. And so if they had an automated thing, people would just be like, putting the stuff through and wouldn't be paying for half their crap. So they won't put it in. See, that's how it is in certain neighborhoods, People are, they game the system. It's like these women on like this CBS News type of thing. They don't believe that anyone exists like that. They don't believe gang members exist. Right? They can't explain the 90,000 homicides a year and the majority of them go unsolved. They don't want to go there, right? They don't want to know 14 people died in Chicago or something on a weekend or something like that. See, they just don't even bother reporting that stuff because they don't want to believe it. Right? Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, life extension. Now, one of the things is, like I say, well, does it really matter? You know, apparently resveratrol, which is that stuff that's in wine, they've been saying that for years, is good for you. It's also in red grapes. And, you know, there's talk about skipping a meal. Like if you go 12 to 16 hours without, intermittent fasting or something like that, it's good for you. But the problem is, it's like, fasting, they don't tell it on this thing, but fasting isn't good for your gallbladder because long periods of whatever. And I still do that because it's like that's my diet. I get up, I have breakfast, and then I'll have a lunch, and that's about it. And that's it. I go upstairs at 3:00 in the afternoon. I'm done. I'm sleeping by 6. I'm in bed by 6:00. I mean, how else am I going to get up and do shows at 3 or 4 in the morning and get a full night's sleep, right? Because I inevitably wake up once or twice in the middle of the night anyway. So, you can't win for losing, as I say, And it's not like, why are they doing this to me? See, that's what some people say. And so what I'm trying to say is, it's not my thought. It's like they're not doing it to me, and I'm not doing it to myself. It's just reality. It's the way the system is. Accept it. Freedom is fun. Do the best you can. Hope you live. Right? I try to eat healthy. I try to exercise. I try to do whatever I can do. And I still get stricken down by all this bullshit. It's like I said before, it's like even on these social media, it's like you walk on eggshells. It's like right now I'm walking on eggshells with my health, hoping I'm not going to get some like pain here in the left-hand side, pain here in the right-hand side, pain here in my mouth, right? Heart attack, pain in my arm, heart attack, benign tumor turn into a cancerous tumor. A PSA test in January. Hopefully I make it that far. Walking on eggshells. And that's how, some people are. And that's why you just got to enjoy every day as it is. Because otherwise, if you sit around and you're like,
this is a nightmare. It must be a nightmare.
You can't do that. You just freak yourself out. That's why I splurged and spent $5.99 and watched that movie yesterday. But like I was finishing that. I don't know if I finished that. But my stupid, internet service kept freezing up on me. And the one time it froze up, it wanted to take it back to the beginning of the movie. And I was almost at the end. So I had to sit there and put it on, 3 clicks on my thing so I could get it and, to take it all the way to close to the spot where I was, where it cut out. And then it was freezing and it froze again. But at least that time I was able to get it started up right where it left off. This is the year 2021. And I'm paying, and I have high-speed internet, and it costs almost $100. Well, what the heck? And, the latest version of the Fire Stick and, and all that stuff. And, the equipment direct from the service provider, internet service provider. So what is the problem? Right? It's not I don't have didn't have old equipment. It's either the ISP or Apple. And it's probably because they just can't handle the load because there's so many people sitting at home. See, a lot of people don't understand that about internet. Is that it's like a pipeline. It's like a water pipe in some instances. All right? It's the same with electricity. That's why you see these transformers. You ever see these things on these telephone poles, which we shouldn't even have telephone poles in the year 2021. All the wiring should be underground. There wouldn't be no trees falling onto wires causing power outages, right? If they would just have done that. But they don't care because the utilities don't want to spend a dime upgrading the system. They rather just react to the storm and, and go down and then restring the wires. It's like I said yesterday. It's like people in Tornado Alley or hurricane zones, right? When they rebuild, they build stick homes, rectangular stick homes that like straight, the winds are going to blow, like, the Three Little Pigs or something. They're going to huff and puff and blow their house down. Instead of building something, which they have the technology now, rounded type of things that can withstand wind. You have to deflect the wind. You don't put a flat thing across, right? You have to have rounded corners. Well, I don't want a rounded corner house. I want the house like Martha's over there with the aluminum siding in Auburn or turquoise or whatever. Fucking idiot. Yeah, well, you're going to lose your fucking house, you dope. But anyway, so electricity and internet service is just like water. So there's a pipe coming through. And the more connections to that pipe, right, then the less the pressure is. That's why in some people's houses, somebody's in the shower, taking a shower, and somebody flushes a toilet downstairs, and the person's like, ah, right? They scald themselves or whatever. And so, the people who can afford it, they have plumbing where they have, separate lines going to the toilet, separate lines going to the shower, so the pressure is equal, or in electric, like I say, they have these transformers and different things that like boost the power along the way so that, you don't have, if somebody's, using a lot of electricity down the street, your lights don't dim. And in internet service, it's bandwidth. And so they have to put all this high bandwidth and run it through these wires. Right? See, that's the thing, Elon Musk has the right idea, even though he's nuking us from the sky probably, but who knows at this point? Who cares? I've got so many radiation in me, I don't care. So I'm thinking of switching to Elon Musk's thing if the price goes down just a little bit more, if it becomes available in this area. Because I'm paying close to, I think his is like, I saw it was like $99 a year. It's just the equipment costs, are up there, or $99 a month. But I'm paying almost that much, and I don't have nearly 218 megabits up and down. I mean, I have 6 megabits up or something, 8 meg. I don't know what it is. So the whole thing's screwed up. And did I tell you today is Tuesday, the 16th of November? And it's 6:42 a.m. I can hear people talking outside. I don't know what they're doing out there. I guess they're waiting for the bus. There's a bus stop across the street from my house. But yeah, so, so they're this local franchisee or whatever, the person that has the franchise for internet, they don't have enough bandwidth to handle the load. And I notice it's always later in the late afternoon, like when kids are home from school. Because all the kids come home and then they're gaming and doing all this shit, right? And so that obviously the bandwidth is being choked, or whatever, and so they can't handle it. And I see people complaining about it all the time, but they're not going to do anything about it. They don't want to spend any money. Their attitude is fuck you. And so Elon Musk will step in, and eventually, like when he covers this, people are just going to switch. And then they'll go out of business because of their own foolhardiness. But that's just the way it works. That's actually, technically, that is capitalism. Those who provide the best services or whatever, succeed. And those who don't, fall by the wayside. But, and I think the thing about that is, since it's a Sky type of thing, it's kind of like Dish TV. I don't think the city has any franchise control over it, right? But they might pass a law like that. They might say, no, you can't. Internet. We've given the official franchise to this service. You cannot use, Elon Musk's, whatever it is, Skylink or whatever it's called, You can't use that service. If you're caught using that service, it's a fine of $8,000 or something like that. It's ridiculous. This is dystopia. And I've been talking about this for years, and people have just not paid attention to me. I've written 10 frickin' books. People don't read them. I've written 50 frickin' songs, and people don't listen to them. And I've been talking about this stuff, warning about this stuff, making fun of this stuff, making songs melodically, feel good and danceable to this stuff. And everyone is just like, duh, right? I don't care. I don't care. Fools. So, yeah, all I'm trying to do is survive at this point. Is just live, wondering what I can eat and can't eat, and trying to stay out of the frickin' hospital. Right? And stay away from operations and procedures and pills. Every frickin' pill they give you gives you constipation these days, too, by the way. But, I don't know what to believe, and just, get into this other thing, about, like I say, this is just something, like these weird diets, the contradictions of the internet. Okay? Like for one thing, they tell you to do this. For another thing, they tell you to do this. And it's like, it doesn't make any sense either. I don't know. It's like, it's just so freaky. So you're almost better off to not pay attention to anything. Right? When I never even thought about the concept of avoiding a certain food and not avoiding another food. In other words, when I was just living life, and if I felt like getting a soda, I got a Mountain Dew or a Diet Pepsi or something. If I felt like having sushi, I had sushi. If I was in a mood for something, it'd be like, hey, McDonald's is having that Monopoly game. Let's order some stuff from McDonald's and see if we can win, the Monopoly game. Right? I haven't had Kentucky Fried Chicken in a while. Let's just get some chicken. Or I used to have these dining entertainment magazines, and all these chefs and stuff and owners of these places would throw all this food at me for free. Free drinks and shots and stuff like that. And I was happy-go-lucky guy, just doing fine. This is just a few years, not that too long ago, really, 6-7 years ago. I mean, I gained a lot of weight, in those days because I was eating and drinking practically every, all kinds of shit. But, I took that weight off. And it's not hard to lose weight, really, if you just you got to move around. That's the whole thing. You just have to move around. You don't have to do, major weight training and have a gym subscription and stuff like that. You just got to 10 minutes a day, take a walk, do something active, get your heart rate up for at least 10 minutes or so. Some people say even 3 times a week or something. You just can't live a sedentary lifestyle, and you just have to, but the point is, avoid this. The moment you get out of a sedentary lifestyle, you're going to start taking off weight. And then this idea is if you skip a meal, like if I don't eat dinner because I go to bed early. People have dinner at 8, right? And I just watch the pounds just come right off to get to a point. Now, I'm not exactly where I want to be. I still want to lose like 15, probably about 15 pounds would be nice. Then I'd be like where I want to be, a decent weight, ideal weight for the rest of my life type of thing. And it wouldn't affect my wardrobe much, I'd have a few looser fitting clothes, but it wouldn't matter. But that's it. And so I don't know. I really don't know. I'm fed up with the whole thing. And so that's why I cut the cord to cable TV and don't watch the news, right? Because it's all this. And like I say, when I do watch it, like this show I was talking about, that stupid CBS thing, every time I do, it's absurd. These people are so clueless. So, screw that. And I think the next thing I'm going to do is like, screw this, trying to have this diet for every ailment that comes up. But see, the thing is, and this is important for somebody who's like watching this and going, man, this guy's out of his mind. He's a hypochondriac. No, what you need to know, and people who've known this show, so this is repetitive for those people who have watched this before. No, you don't understand. I've had a radical prostatectomy. I had prostate cancer. And I had a radical prostatectomy. So I, prostate taken out, some 8 or 9 hour operation. I had like 3 kidney operations, where they didn't blasted some kind of giant kidney stone, but they were having problems getting in access to it. So they had 3 different attempts. Okay. I spent about 3 years ago, it was like half the year I was in and out of the hospital. I knew the nurses. I knew the ward, that floor. I was like pretty much, hey, they knew me by my first name. Right. I'm at my doctor's. I had, and I used to have this AFib, and then it was A-flutter, and then they were saying, well, it wasn't that, but I was going to an electrocardiologist, taking these kind of stuff. I was going to the doctor every 2 months on various prescription drugs and stuff. So no, I'm not, I've been in the emergency room twice this summer. And both times they said, yeah, it's a rare thing, but, you're probably, it's not fatal. I had, like real shit. And so one could adapt the idea is like, why are they doing this to me? I could feel like I'm victimized by, the gods, right? Or, maybe, maybe YouTube is able to send something down. Who knows? It is the year 2021, right? Sci-fi future. But no, it's just the fucking luck of the draw is what it is. Just the way it goes. I've done a lot of good in my life, and and then I guess I've done some wrongs in my life, or was self-centered enough where I didn't, maybe I treat people the way I should have when I was in my self-centered stage, right? But, that was like 30 years ago, 25, 30 years ago, when I was a stupid idiot, pursuing, fame and fortune, that type of stuff, or being a big cheese, running these companies and stuff. But I gave all that up. In the last 25 years, I've been this like humble, simple guy, just doing this stuff, writing songs, doing stuff. I've more than paid for any self-centered, things, So it's weird. So I don't believe in karma. I don't know what to believe in. I don't know if I could believe in anything anymore. You know, and I certainly don't believe in the internet because it's so contradictory. You know, the doctors don't seem to know anything. They contradict themselves. The hospitals. Yeah. And so you end up walking on eggshells. And then whatever the game is being played by YouTube, you know, 0 viewers. It's 6:54 a.m. in the morning. It's almost 7 o'clock, okay? Half the people in this country alone aren't working. But I mean, around the world, there's like hundreds of millions of people who have access to YouTube and are probably scanning on what's live, what's going on, right? But this is hidden. Like I said, there should be randomly a couple hundred people checking in and out. Yeah, they might check on and go like, oh, who's that goofy looking guy with the glasses and the mop top? Right? But I should at least be getting, you know, random people. It's a law of probability and statistics, right? I've studied that kind of stuff when I went to school. You know, when you have like 1 billion people on a platform or something like that, it's global and there's hundreds of millions of people on at any given time, and you've got a category of live and stuff. It's like, you know, people should be like, what's that? Check it out. But they're not. You see? So it's held back. So, you know, there's no way. This entire show has been on, and I'm, you know, approaching the final 10 minutes or so. And, you know, there've been 0 viewers. And I've been on for almost 2 hours. So there's no explanation for that. I mean, look behind me. Those are stacks of books. I've actually written 10 books. They're for sale on Amazon. They're on the iBook store. They're on, you know, they're available at bookstores everywhere. I mean, it has an ISBN number. Library of Congress has a copy of my book. Do you know what I mean? You know, so there it is. Then what? Up here, that book. There's Codex, that book. Get the print version. It's on Amazon. See that hoodie up there? I wore that 2 shows ago. I have that. I have every one of these things you see. I have shirts and hoodies, and there's a Game Over hat over there by the guitar, right? You know, I brought the guitar out. I don't think the cat's here. No, he doesn't hang out here anymore. Got this microphone falling down on the ground. I got a really crappy setup now. This thing loses tune a lot. There's somebody out there fucking with me, and I have no idea who it is. It may be the laws of nature or the universe. I'm not in the mood. It's not in perfect tune either, but... Looks like sunrise. Almost time to feed the birds. Yeah, it's supposed to be an A minor chord. It's out of tune and not worth it. Come on. Everything I have is junk. Because nobody buys anything. Nobody buys any shirts, and I'm demonetized. Obviously, if zero. Even if I was monetized, I'd make no money because you got to have like tens of thousands of people to make money anyway. You have to have 1,000 subscribers before they even consider you to be monetized. But even before they implemented that law, which was only rule or whatever, which only came into existence in the past year or two, I was demonetized. I've been demonetized. I watched some weird stuff. I looked at some stats. Like I was on Amazon. I noticed I had an account since 1998 or something. I was like one of the first people on Amazon. I was one of the first people to have an Apple email. I tell people that. I have 3 Apple email addresses. You can't get those like alias ones anymore, and some of them are two of them are pretty wild because they were available. I was like the first guy, one of the first guys. Thing just notification popped up, garbage day. Yeah, I know they picked it up. I think they did. So yeah, I just live my life. Once a week, take out the garbage. Go to the doctors every 2 months. I have December 1st, hopefully they take this tooth out, I guess. My mouth is kind of semi-sore at times, but I can eat on that tooth, which was really bad before. But now I've got these new pains, new problems. All I want to do is sit at the bar, have a couple of beers, and order a takeout pizza. Listen to some good music. I have the freedom. Freedom is fun. And I do this show because I have you want to hear a real sad, pathetic story? Right? To end out with. I do this show because I'm talking to myself and I watch this show when this show's over, which is shortly. I'll go out back and I'll feed the birds. Put bird feed out for them. Then I'll go upstairs and sit in my chair and turn on YouTube. Unless I walk down the street and go to the grocery store. It's like freaking almost freezing out there right now. But I mean, I have nothing to buy or eat. I'm not hungry. But most likely I'll go upstairs, sit in my chair, and watch this show back for 2 hours. So it's like I'm making this show for myself so I have somebody to talk to. Where you can see a face as opposed to some phone call. Occasionally I'll talk to somebody on the phone, but it's not the same. I never liked the phone to begin with. Even in the days when I, used to have travel around or you'd go somewhere and you'd have a you'd try to have a long distance relationship. That's why they never fail, because talking on the phone just isn't the same thing. There's not that many people I talk on the phone. So I do this show basically because I'm talking to myself. It gives me somebody to talk to. And I'm looking, it's like looking in the mirror. It's more sane. It's like I'm having a conversation with somebody. Because the rest of the day I won't have a conversation. I could walk down the street. I know some guy down the street. I may or may not run into him. If I go down early, definitely wouldn't. But somebody who owns a business, sometimes I'll stop and say hi to him or do something. But, you go to the grocery store and walk through there or pick up. I really don't need anything. So there's no reason to go there. So, you know, you need to get exercise, but it's like whatever. And I was going to get one of those like treadmill things, you know, for the wintertime, because the streets are bad. So even if you want to walk, once it gets like really cold here, people don't shovel the snow on the sidewalks, and it just becomes like snow turns to frozen ice. And I've taken a couple of spills almost, which is why I think I had some problems. You know, you don't want to fall. I mean, I didn't break a bone, but I mean, I fell once in my mouth. I think that's what caused those metal things to fall out. I still have a picture of those things, I think, here. This is how it all happened. See that piece of metal? That fell out of my tooth. That's the tooth I need to have extracted. Ah! You know, be afraid. But so I'd love to have a, you know, one of those things. But I have this concrete porch, steps and porch, and it's a weird angle. And any of those, you can't buy a cheap treadmill. That's like, you know, they're just junk. That's why you see people throwing those things out, or they end up in their like garage or someplace because they try it and it doesn't work. And so the decent treadmills cost about $500. Now the ones they track your heart rate and you're going in a destination and it's goals, and it's like you can run on it or walk at a fast pace, and it's sturdy and it feels real and stuff like that, right? And you can adjust the angle so it's a hill, you know, you're going uphill or not. The problem is those things weigh about 300 pounds. And I looked into getting them, even though I couldn't afford them, but I was going to try a payment plan on something or whatever. And they said, and every place I looked was like, yeah, they'll deliver it, but it's curbside. They'll deliver it to your curb. Well, there's no way. And since I had that cancer prostatectomy, I'm not even supposed to lift more than like 20 or 30 pounds. I could easily herniate myself because my stomach is, you know, hollowed out or whatever. Like I say, this is
You're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
it's a morning vlog. This is under people and blogs. So I have no way of getting a 300, and I'd like to have it upstairs. So there's no way it would make the turn around. I have a real thin stairs offside of my kitchen. So I don't even know where I would put it and how I would get it up my steps into the house. Right? So I can't get one of those. So it's like I can't get a treadmill, even if I could afford it. It cost as much to hire 2 guys or something. Yeah, because everybody wants them, like, everybody's crazy. It's like I was going to have some guy fix the roof. He wanted $600. All I wanted him to do was put 2 pieces of shingles. 2 shingles blew off. But because my roof isn't made with plywood, it's a 100-year-old house, it's planks. And so in between the planks, you could actually see sky. And all I wanted, and it was right at the edge. It's when we had like this weird wind thing. And all I wanted him to do is get on a ladder, go right at the edge, and just nail in 2 shingles to cover that hole. And I already and I had some tar, and I had the roofer nails. And I was like, you know, slap a little bit of this tar down under it, and then put the roofer nails in, and slap a little tar over top of that. And if you see any other, here's a box of roofer nails. If you see any other thing to the left or the right that looks loose, hammer in a couple nails and slap some tar over top of it and make sure it doesn't leak. And I don't care if we get a drip or something, but I got to get rid of this flood. $600. 600 fucking bucks for something that would have taken him about an hour to do or less. Nice job. You know, you try hiring a couple of guys to carry a thing and go through this thing. Yeah, they'd be like $300. You know, we need 100, 150 each. A man to do it. It's like moving, you know, because that's the type of you know, and people are like that, and lay people are like that, right? And the only friend I know who would help me do it, he had a cancer. He had the same operation I had, which is sad. So he couldn't lift. He can't lift. You know, so neither of us would be able to lift 300 pounds, right? So you can't win for losing, is what I'm trying to tell. And I can't put it in this room. I have no room for it, you know. And the next room is a kitchen. See, it's like, this is a small house. It's not like, you know, I have 2 rooms upstairs and a bathroom. And down here, I have 2 rooms, a kitchen and this room, which is small. It used to be a barbershop, small barbershop, like a 1-chair barbershop. And there's a downstairs, like what they call a half bath. I call it a WC. It's a toilet and a sink, water closet. And my kitchen, I've already put like a bar in. I mean, I guess I could sit it in the middle of the kitchen floor if I could get guys to carry it up these concrete steps. But the angle of the way the railing is, and it's a metal railing that's sunk in the concrete, I don't even know if they'd be able to, like, I don't know. And the more expensive ones, they have ones that like fold, right? And they're on wheels and shit. So you could kind of technically, I guess, build it on the sidewalk and wheel it like a hand truck. But those things cost like $750 to $1,000. So it's like, you know, if you had that kind of money, yeah, I probably could then me and a friend could probably, inch this thing up the stairs and bring it into the thing, and I could put it in the kitchen, and what the hell? There's a little space in the center of the kitchen. It'd be weird, but I could do it. And at least I'd get exercise in the wintertime. I had talked about putting it in I have a garage at the back alley, which would be easy there if they just dropped it off in front of the garage. But the garage is just filled with crap, and I don't have, I'd have to get a dumpster to get rid of the shit that's in there. So much crap in there. Anyway, so I don't know. I don't know what to say. That's my life. It's weird. It's screwed up, but it's a blog, and so that's what people watch these things for.
Good morning.
Okay. You want to see what's going on,
I am not a number. I am a free man.
Yeah, I'm a free man. Go to ROCKFLUX.com. It's the holiday season. Give the gift of, of a book, Then What, or Codex on Amazon, GreatSolarStuff.com. Get yourself something in case your power goes out. It doesn't have to run on solar. You could just get the power pack. Get a t-shirt, hoodie, a bear. Get something. Anything. Support the channel. Send me some Bitcoin via locals.com.